Hello and welcome back to another episode of my MotoGP 20 career mode here in MotoGP, and we're here just after the halfway point of the season for the Czech GP this time, and I've accidentally advanced forward a week compared to the last episode. When I was trying to start recording, I accidentally pressed Alt, which apparently advanced forward a week, so apologies for that. So that's why we've got a notification on the personal manager front. Wow, okay. We haven't had an S apply before, and that 99 contract search really does look appealing, but they just get us so much less money, and they obviously pay more. But yeah, it definitely might be worth thinking about this one, so I'll keep them on because obviously we can have 3 more waiting as well. So apparently highly experienced and competent with a few weaknesses, specialised in seeking out offers to sign on from teams. So that is quite an interesting offer there. So in terms of the R&D then, we've got 6 weeks left on the frame, 2 weeks on the electronics. So the electronics should be done by the time we get to Brno. So if we keep advancing forward, 1 week left. So again, we've got more notifications. So another personal manager candidate, and another A++. Obviously we've currently got an A++. Same price apparently. A little bit better in some areas, a bit worse in others. So we'll refuse that one, because obviously we went for this one before because they weren't too bad. Although I'm not so sure if I'm actually going to keep them on anymore. Not 100% sure on that. But we'll leave these 2 slots for now anyway. We'll leave them both there, and we'll have a look at who was applying for the technical staff. So new data analyst applying. It's another A rank. Yeah, so very similar to the one that we've already got saved up, but actually slightly worse. So we're going to refuse that one then. I like to keep one just on the back burner just in case. So we'll advance forward 1 more week then, and that should take us to the Czech GP. Yes, it does then. So the electronics are now up to 17%. If we look at the technical staff management, then we've got another chief engineer applying. So this one is an A grade, which is actually better on the engine by quite a way. A lot cheaper as well. I'm going to keep that one in reserve. Actually, I'm not going to sign them yet, but I'll keep them on in reserve anyway. So let's have a look at the research and development then, because obviously now we can put more people on this frame upgrade, which hopefully should make it be a bit quicker. It seems like 2 weeks is the very minimum amount of time that we can have it then, even with all 12 staff applied, so we'll have to leave it at that for now. We'll see how we get on in this episode, so hopefully we should have a little bit better pace because we've got 2 upgrades now for this race. We've got a frame upgrade and an electronics upgrade. So having a look at the championship standings then as a quick refresher, we are 51 points behind Marc Marquez after half a season, so it should be possible to reel that in. It definitely should be still possible, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be by no means easy. We're going to have to really come out fighting here. And Brno is probably not the best track for that, since the AI are extremely good at this circuit. We've got a pretty healthy lead back to Dovizioso, but Quartararo is very rapidly cutting into that. He's been performing very well as of late, so we've got to probably watch out for him more than Dovizioso. But we'll head into qualifying 1 now here then at Brno, and hopefully we'll be able to get straight through into Q2. So then, here in qualifying 1, and once again, the entire weekend is going to be wet track. So the race we bring upgrades to is the race in the wet. So that's fun. I mean, hopefully it should still improve our performance anyway, because over the race distance we've not quite had it in the wet track conditions. So we'll do our normal strategy then. Let's have a look who's in the session with us. So it's Morbidelli and Miller that didn't get through this time. So Petrucci, the new Red Bull KTM Tech 3 signing in real life for 2021. Nakagami and Aleix Spagro getting through this time. So obviously those are the 3 that usually get chopped and changed out. So we will do as we always do in these sessions and go out at the beginning of the session on a set of soft tyres just to get into the groove of the circuit, and then we'll do a couple of laps right at the end. So here we are then at Brno on track. The bike does feel a little bit more nimble, I must say. I don't know if that's a placebo effect, but the bike definitely feels a bit easier to kind of chuck from side to side. So that is definitely going to be a help to us. Tito Rabat getting right in the way, and we've gone off into the grass, so that is our banker lap ruined. I mean, it wasn't really Rabat's fault, but I couldn't turn in where I wanted to, and I ended up going into the grass, so we'll try and finish this one off then, and then do another one afterwards. Yeah, so we're nearly 2 seconds off in the first sector then, so that's what I'd expect going through the gravel. That's not actually the end of the world, considering how much time I would have assumed we would have lost. We'll see if we can take any out of that time as we go around the rest of the lap, because, like I was saying, the bike actually does feel pretty good now, which is nice. Only 1 upgrade, and it seems to be quite a bit better. Coming out of Stadion then, the bike's spinning up a little bit. We haven't changed the traction control at all, so that won't be improved, although I've not had a problem with the traction controller yet. It's obviously just come running quite a low one and it's wet. So we are still 1.9 off, so we seem to be going matching the time at the top of the session right now. into Kevin Schwant's corner. We've gone in a little bit hot there. Not too bad, but a little bit. And the uphill left-hander of turn 11, then you've got to flick it over for the right of turn 12, which I thought would probably be a bit of a pain on this bike, but actually isn't too bad in these conditions with this upgrade. We've actually taken 4/10 back out of the time again, so yeah, not the end of the world. Into Horizon then. Oh, the front still doesn't really want to stop. That is definitely one thing that is not fixed, but it does seem a little bit more agile, the chassis, that's for sure. So coming up towards the line, I'm guessing we're going to go second. So we actually went 5th then, because obviously it was a pretty bad lap. So we'll go for one more and then we'll head back into the pits. So we're 88 thousandths underneath the time in the first sector. Now 6/10 underneath in the second sector, so we are finding some massive time here. Jean Zarco's gone down. So Lecuona's just gone the fastest lap, which actually made both of our sectors personal best instead of session best. So Lecuona, our teammate, showing us up a bit. We're 8/10 down on him. So as we come up towards the line, well, then where's this going to put us? 1.1 seconds off, so actually losing a lot of time right at the end there. So we're now down to 6th in the session. So we'll head back to the pits then and go out with 2 laps to go, and we'll try and set a good enough time to get through into qualifying 2. So obviously with this being quite a long circuit, I basically had to head straight back out. There's 4 minutes to go now, which should be enough for us to do. Actually, that's probably enough for us to do 3 laps. I've probably gone out a little bit too soon. So perhaps we'll have to slow down on one of the laps. But we're currently 12th out of 13, so we definitely need to try and improve our time to get through. So we're 2/10 down in the first sector. A crash for Morbidelli then. That might be his session over. So we're now 9/10 away from the time, so we're losing even more time around this lap. Brad Binder's down. 1.6 seconds off. We are losing so much time on this lap. So coming up towards the line then. 1 at 58.6. We're 2 seconds off. So we really need to up his pace on these last couple of laps. So we're 2/10 underneath in the first sector. And that's 3/10 off the time in this sector. Now half a second off. We're losing time everywhere except the first sector. So towards the line then. What's this going to be? 6th place, 7/10 off. We're going to have to go for one more. 1/10 underneath in the first sector. 1/10 down in the second. So we're still losing time, even though I'm riding so well. 2/10 down then in this sector. Up towards the line then. So close, but we just couldn't quite get in. We missed out by just over 1/10 of a second, then actually getting through into qualifying 2. So once again, it's going to be a horrible starting position. The AI are so good at Brno. It's going to be a really difficult race. Morbidelli is down there in 10th place. Brad Binder in 13th. At least we are the top KTM, I suppose, with Lecuona down in 5th place. Oh, we just couldn't quite do it. It's so difficult sometimes to actually get through into qualifying 2. So it's going to be yet another comeback race, and we're still trying to fight Marquez for this championship. So it's definitely slipping out of my grasp at this point. Even with the upgrades now, it's not helping, although we've only got a couple of them, so I suppose if we got some more it might be a little bit better. The bike actually felt pretty good. I think it's just because the AI are really good at Brno, because to be honest, the times they're doing are not even that far off decent dry times, so it is pretty hard to compete. So then, Quartararo on the pole position once again. I'm guessing Marquez in second, yes. So it is pretty scripted if you don't get through into qualifying 2. The grid always seems to be Quartararo followed by Marquez. Rossi down in 5th then, but I've learnt from my mistake of Assen, where I went with a medium rear, which probably wasn't the best choice, because it really lasted to the end. So I think that's going to be a very similar thing here, so I've gone for a soft in this race. It is a risk, but we're down in 13th, which isn't the end of the world. Obviously we started, I think it was 12th or 11th once, and we ended up finishing 2nd in that race back in Texas. So it's not the end of the world. This is not the worst qualifying position we've had. We've definitely started much further back, since we're very close to actually getting through. So we do need to try and still get off to a good start, but hopefully we'll be able to pick off a few on the first lap and then just sort of try and make my way back through the order. Without further ado, we'll get this race started, and we really need to beat Mark here, so hopefully something will happen that will allow us to actually catch him up. So Quartararo on the pole position then. Marquez in second, Rins in third. I really hope those guys could try and hold Mark up, but if history tells us anything, they won't. Waiting for the lights to go out. Lights out and away we go here at the Czech Grand Prix. Waiting for that front wheel to come up. Yep. So the upgrade doesn't seem to have changed an awful lot. Although perhaps it will be a little bit better on corner exits maybe. It's not the best conditions to test it in. We're being dive bombed by everyone here. Jack Miller's just hit us wide. Jack Miller's really affected us badly there. So I don't know what the AI are doing on this first lap. But we were probably trying to get the cut back on everyone sort of through the first couple of corners. And Jack Miller's just gone straight to the side of me. It's just like, nah, I'm not having that. So we've lost a few positions here. So we're diving in towards the second corner. So third corner. It's basically the second corner. The second corner is just a flick on the straight. So we're back up into 12th place. So that dive bomb actually really worked out for me. There's lots of sliding going on up ahead. Joan Mir sliding. I think Aleix Spagro sliding. Michael Aquona up into 11th. And he got a really good run through that corner. He's up into 10th now. He's passed Aleix Spagro. We're looking around the outside of Aleix Spagro as well. So some riders really struggling on this first lap. A few people going wide up ahead. People all over the place. Marquez already in the lead though. So well done Quartararo for keeping him behind. Please go back at him, Fabio. But if we know, Fabio doesn't tend to go back at him. Lecuona's got a bit wide. We've got the run on Lecuona, so can we get into the top 10, please? I could get out of my way. You're my teammate. I'm fighting for the championship, man. Get out of my way. So we've got in front of him now, but he's still trying to hang up the inside, but we've got round the outside of him here. He's still trying to pass me on the curb on the inside. Very relentless there from Michael Lecuona. I mean, fair play. I suppose he wants to be the top Tech 3 rider or the top KTM rider, but I am fighting for a world championship, of course, and he is not. So Mir on that inside curb then, that's a bit of a dangerous move. The rear sliding again. You just can't get the power down on this first lap. The track is just so wet. Which makes no sense. You'd think you'd actually have a bit more grip on these tyres, although they haven't got much heat in, I suppose, at this point of the race. But yeah, you think the wet tyres would be a little bit better at dispersing the water. It's a really small amount of grip. So we're in the top 10 at the end of the first lap, although we only started 13th, so it's not much of an achievement. It's just we got punted back into about 17th at the first corner. Now to dive bomb half the field at the next one. So as we go through the last corner then on the power, Marquez has already stretched away. Look how far in the lead he is. Look how far in the lead he is. Marquez is gone. So we're not beating him in this race here. We're looking for the outside on Valentino, but we couldn't quite do it just because Rabat was there. I'm not used to fighting with Rabat at the front. Well, it's not the front, but Rabat is quite high up the order compared to where he usually would be. Rossi's now getting in my way a little bit, which again is something I didn't think I'd say. I think I said it once before this season as well, but Rossi, he's not had the best season. He's not been too bad as of late, but we're going around the outside of him now anyway. We've cut him up. He's hit me up the back. I'm trying to make some positions up the order. So Marquez with a 58.4 already. What am I going to do here? A 2-minute 0.3, so we're about 2 seconds a lap slower than Marquez. Marquez is just clearing off here. But I've not really made much progress on Rabat. They are just faster than me around every sector except the first one, really. I'm just trying to manage the power at the moment so that we can try and get some better runs through the corner. Here we go then, looking for a move on Rabat up the inside of Rabat. Hopefully we'll get this one stopped. Yes, we can. Rabat's trying to hang it around the outside, but he couldn't quite do it. So up into 8th place now. Crutchlow up next. Marquez has already crossed the line as I'm still coming out the last corner. We're using a bit of power mode 0 now to try and save some for later on in the race. Quartararo looks like he is actually going after him now though. Marquez again doing another fastest lap, 57.9 this time. The guys in front of me are just pulling away now. So Quartararo, 56. How are they in the 56s? How can they do this? So as we're coming towards the line then, I'm still in the 58, so I'm going 2 seconds a lap slower than everybody. Rossi is all over the back of me as well now as we start the penultimate lap. So as we're coming up towards the line then now to start the final lap, we're finally into the 57s, but we're way too far behind Cal to do anything. So it's just all about trying to keep Rossi behind us now. As we come through turn 12 then, Rossi is like all over the back of us here. Rabat is almost side by side with Rossi actually. So Rabat looks like he might make a move on Rossi. We've lost over 2 seconds on this lap alone to Crutchlow. Honestly, my pace is just so bad at this circuit in these conditions. Marquez has already won the race. Oh, who was that up the inside? That was Rabat. Rabat's past Rossi then. As we come up towards the line then, we're going to get 8th place in this race. But wow, we were so slow. And the AI around me, well, the AI in front of me got 55s as their fastest laps, and I got a 57 as mine. So I was so far off the pace. I could do absolutely nothing. I was powerless to stop the AI in that race. They are just so good at Brno, and with it being the wet, it's even worse. So I'm not sure how we actually got a couple of good qualifying positions in the rain, but it seems like our bike is even worse in the rain than it is in the dry. So I'm hoping for mainly dry weekends from now on. 8th place, not the end of the world, I suppose. We started 13th, but it's definitely, I think, our shot at the championship is definitely gone now. Olaquona got 15th, so that's 1 point for the team, so that is very handy to go along with, I think it's 8 you get for 8th place. Marquez with 25, so another 17 points out in front, and I'm guessing Quartararo is probably going to overtake us now as well in the championship. Not quite, actually, so we're 68 points down on Marc Marquez now, which is a unbelievably huge gap at halfway, over halfway through the season. So I think Marquez has got this championship wrapped up now. I think I've just got to focus on trying to fight Quartararo and Dovizioso for second in the championship. Quartararo's on an absolute roll though, he's barely any points behind us, he's literally 7 points down on us. Dovi's only 9, so both those riders are really, really close to us in the championship now. Looking at the team's championship then, Repsol Honda again are just walking away with the championship, 56 points ahead of Monster Energy Yamaha MotoGP, and Mission winner Ducati 65 points back. Then in the Constructors' Championship, we're now 5 points behind Ducati. It's possible we could still secure third in the Constructors, that would probably be my goal. Second in the Championship, third in the Constructors, that'll probably be a pretty good season. But Honda are 69 points ahead of us now, absolutely walking away with that Constructors' Championship. It's just Marquez wins so much, and he never has an off weekend. The only off weekend he's had is Assen, and that's because he got knocked off by someone else. So yeah, it is tough to beat him because our bike is just, it changes in competitiveness from track to track, whereas obviously the Honda, or Marquez's AI, is going to win at every track. So we'll head back into the career hub then, and we'll probably not get much reputation for this weekend, and then we'll see what we got to do, and then we'll end off the episode there. So then on the reputation front, we gained 5,300 reputation, which takes us up to 369,800. And I think the only positive we can take out of this weekend is the 32,863 credits, which takes us up to 487,826 credits. So that's that then, that's the episode done. And that is over half the season done now. 11 out of the 20 races complete. Marquez 68 points in the lead of the championship. So I formally say here that if we won the championship, that would be completely ridiculous. But if we did, then that would be great. But I'm not going for it anymore. We're just going to try and win as many races as we can from here to the end of the season. Hopefully we'll be quite competitive at Austria, since it is our team's, well, not our team, but our manufacturer's home race. Obviously, KTM being an Austrian company, it is also the Red Bull Ring, and we're sponsored by Red Bull as well. So there's a bit of pressure on us there, although not really, because we are way outperforming the bike in the championship anyway, so it's not a massive problem. Because you can see we've actually not had a terrible season. It's been a bit up and down, but we're still second in the championship. It's just because Marquez has won every single race, bar I won one, Dovi won one, Quartararo won one, Vinales won one, so that's 4. So literally there's been 11 races. Marquez has won all of them but 4 and he's been second or third in all of those races. So yeah, that is not great. Actually, I think he was obviously a bit further down at Assen, because I think that's where Quartararo got his win, wasn't it? But yeah, it's been a very good season for Marquez. It's not been the best season for me, and Marquez has got a massive lead in the championship, and I think it's going to be basically impossible for us to catch him up now, with obviously 9 races to go. I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to try. If he makes a few mistakes, it's possible, and I think we have to get in front of him for to make a mistake. He's not going to make a mistake when he gets a race like that where he gets to check out. So qualifying is the main place we need to improve. In the race, we're not too bad. It's just that in Brno we just didn't have the pace at all, so I think that's always a bit of a blip every year. We did manage to win that in Moto 3, but only just. Moto 2, I think we actually finished even worse in that. I think in 9th place we finished in Moto 2. And obviously we finished 8th just then. So that's quite actually a good result for Brno, 8th place. But yeah, it is a struggle. It is a struggle. They are OP at Brno. They're overpowered. I think they're not too bad at pretty much all the tracks left. So hopefully we can try and get some victories, try and get some points back on Mark, because really I think the most we've gained on Mark a weekend is 9, and he gains like over that pretty much. He gains that more most weekends on me. So if we're gonna catch him up, we need to start taking 25 points out a couple times, and then it becomes a bit more feasible. But yeah, he needs to have a crash or 2, probably 2 really, for us to have a decent shot at the championship. But we saw what happened in Moto 2 and Moto 3. The AI can sometimes bottle it. I mean, at this point of the season in Moto 3, Masia hadn't even crashed out of a single race yet, and we saw how many points he then chucked away from crashing. So, Marquez, it could still come all unravelled for him. We might have to play a bit tactically as well, maybe back up the pack. Hopefully some riders can get in front. We need a pack race a bit like in Argentina, but not have Marquez be Marquez the one at the front that then drops through the order. That would be quite helpful. But he just seems to get away too much, so we need to actually get in front of him at the start of a race and sort of back him up. It's probably the strategy from now on. But enough rambling. It's absolutely boiling here in the UK, so I don't want to sit here talking for too long with this warm computer on. So I hope you did enjoy that video. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next video.